Welcome to Sam and Cathy, everybody. It's Sam and Cathy. It's the companion show to Sam Roberts' show, the companion podcast, I should say, to Sam Roberts' show on Sirius XM. Sam Roberts' show is on every night, Monday through Friday on Sirius XM, XM 103, Sirius 206 at 9 p.m. Eastern, with yours truly, Sam Roberts, and my co-host right there, Cathy Kelley. Hi, Cathy.
Hello.
Oh, wow, your voice sounds so clear. I'm so glad you did that before coming here. Of course, we do Sam and Cathy as a little bonus every week so that you guys get extra us. And
who wouldn't want that?
I mean, I don't know why you're laughing.
Extra us.
See, this is your problem. You need to exist in the world. You need to have the confidence of realizing that people want extra us. There's no point in me. Do you have any idea how much Sam Roberts content gets pushed out every week? Like, way too much.
I mean, the best things are extra. Guacamole.
Right. And who doesn't get extra guac? I hate all condiments, so I'm not the right person to talk to. But I can't operate under the idea that it's silly that people would want more of me. I don't necessarily believe it all the time, but I have to convince them. I just can't think about it.
Yeah.
Just keep pushing out stuff.
Well, that's why we do this for fun, and people happen to listen too.
That's what it is. It's just our excuse to hang out with each other, which we probably shouldn't both need that excuse, right?
I just don't like having an hour in my day where I'm not doing something.
Right, it's recorded. That way it's a thing. It's important.
Like if I could record myself just watching Netflix and have reactions,
I would listen to that podcast.
Would. It's not even a podcast. It's like a video.
Oh, I would watch that.
I'm silent while I'm watching. I'm not like, oh my gosh.
It would be funny if you did like
Tim Riggins.
Cathy Kelley reacts to episode 4, season 2, Friday Night Lights, and it's an hour video, full hour of your just facial expressions, changing and and then some of it was just
you'd see my wow. Minka Kelly has a really great ponytail expression.
Exactly. And like halfway through the episode, you're just texting someone. You're missing parts of the show because that's the way it works. I would watch that.
Yeah.
You should think about making that a series. I felt so good about myself this week because I can't even believe this is still a thing. You know, what record stores did you go to when you were younger? Did they have, I mean, you're 27.
CD stores.
Yeah. I mean, you know what it is.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm this old person. I'd never listened to vinyl. I'm 32.
I bought several records because I thought that they were cool, but they were way past, like...
What did you buy on vinyl?
AC/DC.
Did you like AC/DC?
Yeah, I went through a phase.
Liking AC/DC?
Yeah.
Wow. Did you like the deep cuts or just like the hits?
Probably more of the hits.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of hits, so it's okay to just like their library of hits. How long did you like AC/DC for?
Like a few years in high school, like I listened to them a lot.
Were you, because you didn't have friends in high school, so who was influencing that?
I had one friend in high school.
Look at you. So were they, he or she?
She.
Was she an AC/DC fan?
She liked AC/DC as well, but I don't think that that's why I liked it. I think I started, like when I was in high school, I would go to concerts every single weekend. Like that's what I did.
But you were antisocial.
Yeah, I went with my one friend.
What concerts did you go to?
I mean, like a lot of local bands a lot of them ended up becoming big. Like I used to go see Fall Out Boy at like the church across the street from my house.
That's cool.
A ton. And then like a bunch of like local Chicago bands or like
did you ever see
bands,
Chicago in Chicago?
No, I did not.
That would have been dope.
Like people probably wouldn't know these bands anymore. Like Spitalfield and Punchline and Gym Class Heroes, which turned into
Gym Class Heroes
that
is
one.
cool.
That one was big. They weren't signed yet.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so you used to just go check out local music acts. Did you like music, or was it just that's my thing?
I loved music. Like I think it was like a hipster before it was a hipster, where I really enjoyed finding bands before they were big.
I see.
And so, that's when MySpace was really big, and you were just allowed to have like
top 8.
Well, no, your songs. Like if you were an artist, like you could have songs on there,
and then you could add it to your page,
your song on your homepage, and then God, I'm forgetting the website now, but there was a website that was exclusive to independent artists, and it was similar to a Spotify, but they didn't have like an app or anything because no one had smartphones yet. Like,
Of course.
everyone had razors.
Right.
And
I had a razor.
I didn't have a razor. I really wanted a razor or a Sidekick, but I wasn't allowed to.
Yeah, I wanted a Sidekick too for a period of time. But go on.
But yeah, there was this website where you could just, find bands and people would like their page or whatever.
So it was like Spotify, but it was a desktop thing, and it was really only unsigned artists.
Yeah,
Yeah.
unsigned artists. Yeah. And then I would go to Warped Tour every year.
Wow. I was such a nerd. I didn't go to any concerts ever.
Really?
Like, I don't remember what my first concert was, really, but it was after high school, I'm quite sure. I would think to myself, because I would always want to find excuses to sound like I wasn't not cool, because I didn't feel like I was missing anything. I didn't have any desire to do anything that I wasn't doing, but I didn't want people to think that other people thought I was a dork. So I would have to think of, you know what I'm saying?
Kind of.
I didn't.
You didn't go to concerts because you didn't want people to think you were a dork?
No. I didn't go to concerts because I had no desire to go to concerts.
Oh.
But I had to think of excuses in the way I spoke so that people wouldn't think that I was considered a dork or a loser by the general population.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think I've talked about this before, but for years in high school, probably at least the first two, maybe halfway through the third year, I would sit on the weekends trying to figure out artistic ways of saying that I didn't do anything. So it seemed like I did something, but there was no follow-ups. So, like, at first I could say, oh, I just hung out. What'd you do this weekend? Oh, I just, like, hung out. What were you doing? And it's like,
you
hopefully,
on them,
hopefully they won't come back my way. And I said hung out. So does that mean, hanging out with friends?
Family,
Who knows?
Super general.
Who knows?
Most people don't care anyways.
No, because they want to talk about themselves.
Yeah.
So as long as, and I figured that out, it's just like interviewing people. Like, I figured out that you could just get people to talk about themselves, and you got a conversation there. So I would do stuff like that, and I would get caught a lot. I'm sure everybody knew I wasn't doing anything.
See,
and I would get scared anytime
you were going to get found out.
No, I got scared anytime I got female attention.
Oh.
Like, I didn't get a lot of it, but when it did happen, I remember. I think the Water Boy maybe came out. I think I was a freshman in high school. Probably. Freshman or sophomore. And the Water Boy came out. And I was talking to a girl, cute girl. And I wouldn't date her now because it'd be illegal. But then it was perfectly legal. We were the same age. And I said, yeah, I want to see the Water Boy. And she was immediately, just like that, she goes, oh, I would see that with you. And I was like, oh, and just looked back down at my notebook and never talked about the Water Boy again.
That's so funny.
Because I was terrified.
Yeah.
And along the lines of, and so that's why, and then I went through a period after that, like before I was married, where I would just get upset with myself because I was like, if I just could go back to high school and cash in on half of the signals that were just around. Just any, be able to use social cues like I know how to use social cues now. It would have been a different world. But it's not. And it's not possible to go back. You can't go back. But I would, like, try to figure out, people were going to live music in high school. And I would try to figure out, okay, how am I going to make it so that I'm not the only one not going to shows? Because I haven't gone to any festivals. So I started telling people, yes, I've been to concerts before. My first concert in my head, so I wasn't lying, was when the Insane Clown Posse rapped the Oddities to the ring at SummerSlam 98. Because since I saw the Insane Clown Posse sing a song, because I was in the building for SummerSlam 98, it's a concert. And there's so many holes in that. Mainly,
but
I was like,
people wouldn't ask.
Mainly, I was like, okay, my excuse is, yeah, I went to my first concert, Insane Clown Posse. Great, perfect. Yeah, that's what you want. But so I would have to, I would find excuses and just try to figure it out.
Arguably, so for me,
but I didn't want to go out either.
Yeah, like going to concerts was actually antisocial because I was not going to parties.
Yeah, but you weren't the only one at the concert. You mean
well,
you weren't?
There were other people around, but
the
only
other kids in
person
school
I was
weren't going.
interacting with was my one friend. Yeah.
And the other kids in school weren't going to shows, so it's not like you were going back to school to relate.
No, they were all like drinking and having sex, and
yeah.
I was like,
And you were not doing either of those two things.
No.
Yeah, that's something I would have missed out on. I would have been like, ugh. But I'd be so annoyed that I didn't know. Because for me, it was always like I didn't know the first step. I didn't know. I couldn't drink and have sex because I didn't know how to start a conversation. Like, I didn't know how you even get to a place where somebody would invite you to go to a party. And so I just avoided it altogether and just stayed home and watched wrestling.
I figured you would be able to come up with a better lie or something. Like, make up something better than Insane Clown Posse.
No, because I didn't want to lie.
Oh.
Because my theory has always been if you just lie, you can get found out in a lie.
Yeah.
If you twist or warp your reality, you may not get caught in a lie because it's not really. But I'm not somebody who really lies.
Yeah.
And I don't think that that's solving anything. Mainly, it's not because I think I'm a good person. It's because I know that the only thing the only thing more humiliating than being a nerd is lying about not being a nerd. Once they find out that not only do you not go to concerts, but you were pretending that you did because you wanted them to think you were cool, you're finished. So
I once lied about having the new Britney Spears CD in 4th grade because everyone in summer camp was making fun of me for not having it.
No.
And I lied, and they were just like, oh, yeah, well, what's the song list? And I didn't know any of it. And I was like, well, who knows the names of songs? Like, I legit still don't know the names of a lot of songs that I like.
Mm-hmm.
But so they like said that, and then they found out eventually that I didn't know.
Oh, no.
And then my grandpa offered to buy me the CD, but I actually wanted Bewitched instead, so I got that.
What a terrible choice. I mean, in hindsight, that was not the choice that survived.
At the time, I really wanted that CD.
Bewitched was popular in a moment.
And he bought me my first... I didn't even have a CD player when I lied that I said that I had Britney Spears' CD.
You didn't have a CD
I
player
didn't have
at
a
all?
Walkman, yeah.
Oh, so you couldn't... Even if you had the CD, you're like, I don't know what any of the songs sound like.
One of the girls had the new Britney Spears on cassette.
Was
that
so
old?
Was that
weird?
Yeah, I don't know. I had tons of cassettes.
I think it was like 4th going into 5th grade, or maybe 3rd going into 4th grade. I don't know.
Yeah, I was in high school when Britney Spears came out. I was a freshman in high school, but I was a boy, so I didn't like Britney Spears. But I also
you liked Insane Clown Posse.
I know, because they accompanied a wrestler to the ring. What a loser! But I think it's interesting because I didn't know anything about music.
Yeah.
All my favorite bands, and to this day, like Rob Zombie, music that I still listen to, was just music that I thought was cool because I was exposed to it because my older sister's boyfriend listened to it.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And he actually was like a metalhead, and I was like, oh, can you make me a tape? And he made me a White Zombie tape, and he made me an Offspring tape. And to this day, it was Smash by The Offspring, which is an amazing album. It was before Pretty Fly for a White Guy, all the nonsense. Like, Smash is still an album that holds up.
Yeah.
And it was Astro Creep 2000 by White Zombie, which is, More Human Than Human. That's the White Zombie album. And La Sexorcisto is a great album, too. But both of those tapes, I want to say that they started me into music, but I just listened to those tapes over and over again. I didn't explore anything. So I didn't know what was cool. I didn't know who was cool. I didn't know what music should sound like. None of it. It was so much later that I was ready to really start diving into figuring out what's next. Like now,
now I can think of now I don't even know what your favorite bands would be. I know that you like Drake a lot.
I mean, I like weird stuff. Like I like Amy Mann a lot. I listen to Amy Mann all the time.
Okay, what else?
I listen to a lot of Amy Mann. I listen to Rob Zombie. Jack White's tattooed on my arm. I listen to Kanye West all the time. I listen to Jay-Z all the time.
I knew the hip-hop stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's a couple songs. Like, there's some Beatles songs I listen to a lot. I listen to Beach Boys a lot.
My mom's favorite band.
The Beach Boys?
Yeah.
They're incredible. They are incredible. Pet Sounds is, like, as much a work of art as anything has ever been.
Do you wish they all could be California Girls?
That wasn't on Pet Sounds.
I know, but I'm just saying another lyric.
After meeting you, of course I do. How sweet. Look at you blushing. Nailed it. See? Why couldn't high school Sam have that kind of game? If I had dropped that on you in high school, in a second, Cathy.
Nope.
100%.
Because I was in 4th grade.
That's what I'm saying. You would have liked it even more. That is funny. It's my girlfriend. She's a 4th grader.
Oh, God.
That's okay. I'm a 9th grader. It's not that big.
Ugh.
You know? It doesn't seem like that much of an age difference now. Back then, it's the same. Who cares? A 14-year-old and like a 9-year-old or something. But yeah. So, yeah, no. And now, because here's what happened for me. I came to terms with the fact that I could be okay with myself enjoying and listening to pop music. That was a game changer for me because now I can call a hit 100 miles away. Yeah. I call the song of the summer every year. I listen to an album. I know what's going to be a hit, what's not going to be a hit. Like, I'm great at that now.
I really like pop music too, but I feel like for music enthusiasts, like, it's almost embarrassing.
It's popcorn.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough
like,
to...
no one wants to admit that they like the new Demi Lovato song or Justin Bieber song or whatever.
Exactly. Especially me.
I like them.
Especially me. I'm sitting there going like, Justin Bieber is finished. And then he's like, is it too late now to say sorry? And I'm like, it's a great song. I like that song. It sounds better when he does it.
A little bit.
But I still think I have a certain charm about me. I remember when I got into pop music, and it was bad. It was before college. Mm-hmm. But college is also where I started to really not give a fuck about anything. Like, I just do whatever I want to do, I guess. Which is what I was doing in high school, which is why I wasn't going out ever. But I was just by myself and trying to make sure. I wanted to hide from people that I was just doing whatever I wanted to do. Because it wasn't that cool. I didn't know it was cool. If I'd positioned it in such a way, then it would have been cool. Like, it's cool now, in hindsight, to be like, oh, I started this little business, and I started it. And it's one of those stories about the, enterprising high school student. But it was really just a dork who liked his hobbies more than his friends. There's nothing else to it. Yeah. It's not. It doesn't make me special. But I delved into the wonderful world of pop through Miss Avril Lavigne.
Wow.
Her song came on. I was watching MTV one day. You. I mean, I was way before that. Oh. That's like late Avril Lavigne. What are you talking about? Girlfriend. It's
so complicated.
That's it! I was watching MTV.
Yeah.
And they were playing, this is when they played music videos a little bit still. And this Complicated song came on. I was like, oh, that's a cute girl. And then I was listening, I was like, oh yeah, why did it make things so complicated? I was like, this is stupid. It's catchy. It's dumb. This is stuck in my head. It's stupid. And then I go, wait a minute. And then I was like, wouldn't it be funny if I liked this song ironically? And I was telling all my friends, yeah, I love Avril Lavigne. And then Skater Boy came out. And I was like, Complicated and Skater Boy? I was like, no, guys.
She said, see you later, boy.
Yeah, I love Avril Lavigne. And then the Slow song came out. The one that Rihanna samples the yodel on. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. I love that song.
Do you like Fifi Dobson, though? Because I feel like she was much more underrated, even though she was as...
I remember Fifi Dobson.
Avril Lavigne.
I thought she was biting off Avril's style a little bit, and I didn't think she had as much hit value as Avril. She was more like Avril really found a medium between like being kind of punky rock chick, but doing really catchy pop songs. And that album was huge. I was not alone. But at that point, I was like, wait, I can appreciate this differently. I'm not sitting there and saying Avril Lavigne is some great musician. Yeah. But I'm going to start appreciating pop music. Yeah. And that led me into a whole different journey. And to this day, like if I'm driving around, I was driving a lot today, I have less tolerance for it now. But like I have the radio and I like listening to catchy songs or whatever. But I won't, it's rare now that I'll actually download it or put it on my phone or voluntarily type in a song. I like that Ed Sheeran song.
Don't?
No. The big one that was like, I'm going to love you till you're 70, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Love that song. That's a really...
Ed.
That's a really nice song. But yeah, so I never in high school had a shot at knowing any kind of music that was cool. I didn't know what was cool at all in school. I was so far removed because I was so deeply into my hobbies that might. I feel like there is some.
Like that's what you do now.
Yeah, I think there is an element of Asperger's to it. I don't like to get diagnosed with things, but it fits what people say about that. But I remember looking around my classroom one day and being like, I wonder why I'm not cool. I was like, well, I definitely don't dress cool. I was like, but how would I dress if I wanted to be cool? I don't know. And I looked around and I go, oh, I know. And I went home that day and I was like, Mom? She's like, yeah. I was like, next time you're at the store, get me some Tommy Hilfiger t-shirts. And she was like, okay, like what kind of t-shirts? I don't know. Just ones that say Tommy Hilfiger on them.
Yep.
She was like,
that was big for a while.
Any color? Or I was like, I don't know, Mom. Just Tommy Hilfiger. She never got me any. She knew it was stupid. And I wasn't going to pull it off anyway. But I always had trouble trying to figure out what was cool. But I think the reason was because I was trying so hard.
Yeah.
To figure out, like I was removed from it, and then trying, like I wasn't in.
Were you always on the end of the cycle of stuff being cool too?
No, because I never jumped on board.
Oh, I was on the end of the cycle for stuff. Like there was a time when, what are those clogs called that were in?
Crocs?
No. It was before Crocs, before Uggs.
Okay.
There was at least at my school, there was like this phase where like clogs were really in.
Right.
And I got them like 6 months later.
Oh no.
Because I would always ask my mom for them and then like I wouldn't get them until.
And then did you wear them after they were cool?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Or like towards the latter end of it.
That
sucks. So it didn't really matter.
Yeah. Yeah. That's not good. That's a waste.
Mm-hmm.
That's a waste. See, now I kind of like to look. I don't really change the way I look all that often, but I'm You
wear Jordans every day.
Yeah, I do. I like Jordans.
And either a band t-shirt or a wrestling t-shirt. Most likely wrestling t-shirts.
More often, yeah.
Sometimes a shirt over it. Sometimes a jean jacket over it. Sometimes one leather jacket over it.
I figured out my look.
Yeah.
It's whatever's in front of me. But at least now I'm aware of like what's in style and things like that.
Yeah.
Like I pay attention to what society's doing. Back then I had no clue. I just had no idea. I was so wrapped up in anything else. I didn't even know where to begin looking. If you told me here's a bunch of money, I want you to go be cool, I'd be like, I don't know how to do that. I wouldn't have any idea. Do you still try to find new music?
Usually I just listen to what I have on my Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
But I have an app that it's not like to try to find new music to be cool because I don't ever share the music with anyone else.
Yeah.
But I have an app called Hype Machine where it's like the most blogged about music. So I really enjoy that kind of stuff, like where it's a lot of remixes or it's bands that, like one of my friends started a band and his song was on there before he was actually signed by a big.
When did you stop going to shows?
I went to a few in college, but it was mostly high school.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I went to one probably every single weekend in high school.
How come you stopped?
Well, one, I was going to college and, I had friends at that point.
Oh, that's right. You got cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. You took down, that's when the glasses and the ponytail came off.
Yeah.
Freddie Prinze Jr. was telling me about that.
And then I think a lot of it was because...
It's so funny. I got friends, so I stopped going to concerts.
Well, I did still go to a couple concerts in St. Louis, but like Chicago was just a really big scene for that.
Right.
At that time.
Right. Chicago's one of the coolest cities there is.
It's awesome.
It really is
Great
cool. I've only been there
people.
once, but like I had a blast in that city. Man. So do you miss going to concerts and figuring that out, or do you like better now just doing it on the app? And
I think I missed that time just because that was like there was a lot of talent that was undiscovered at that point. So like they were really into like doing really good shows. I don't know, like it was a really cool thing to be the tiniest little part of.
When did you start listening to pop music?
I mean, I always
Just forever?
did. Yeah, I listened to it even back then, yeah.
Yeah. I used to watch MTV's The Grind before school in the morning. It was a really weird... Do you remember The Grind?
No, but I would watch TRL every single day when I came over to
Yeah,
school.
I mean, TRL was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
Did you want to host TRL?
Oh, I wanted to be a VJ so bad.
I was pretty sure I was going to do that, too.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have made it even if VJs were still around now. But I was pretty sure that's where I was going to go.
Yeah.
And then it just completely collapsed.
I didn't even think it was doing poorly, and then all of a sudden I heard it was canceled.
Well, you know,
Like, my dream is crushed.
Carson Daly left, and then it was just Caduce and Damian Fahey.
Well, I didn't watch when Carson Daly was around. I watched when it was Caduce, Damian Fahey,
What?
Lala. Yeah.
So you watched the garbage TRL?
No, I loved it. It
No.
was great.
That was like way past
It
its
was
prime
awesome.
TRL.
Vanessa Manillo, I wanted to be her.
So what bands were on TRL when you were watching?
Avril Lavigne was on there.
Only the girlfriends, like the late stuff.
Ashley Simpson, that was a big thing when I was in high school. I really liked her reality show, actually.
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that guy that dated her? Ryan Cabrera was on the show.
Oh my God! So that was
All American Rejects. They were just like getting big.
Mm-hmm.
I think they started being on it my sophomore, junior year of high school.
Do you feel
liked
like
them, yeah.
I caught myself because I always try to avoid the sensation that happens to everybody, which was X, Y, and Z was coolest when you were in high school, and it applies to music more than almost anything, but to movies, sports, the whole deal. Oh, it was the best when I was in high school. And I was sitting there being like, the garbage music that was on TRL when I was in high school was so much better than the garbage music that was on TRL when you were in high school.
It's so stupid because we were having this conversation a couple weeks back, and all of those albums that I would listen to time and time again in high school, I can put on Spotify and still recite every single lyric. Like,
Oh, yeah.
haven't listened to it in 5 years. Someone played an All American Rejects song "Work" earlier today for like a package or something they were putting together, and it brought me back. It was bizarre.
I was driving around with Jess the other day, and like a bunch of hip hop songs that I had listened to right at the end of high school when I started driving came on, or I had them on Spotify or something, and I still knew every word to all these songs that, in being with me for, I don't know, 10 years, however long it's been, she had never heard me listen to.
Yeah.
And they were all still like, and they were awful songs. Like Forgot About Dre, like all the dumb white kid rap songs. But still, I knew all the words still.
But because I know for me at least, has your like music, like love of what genre of music shifted at all? Because I feel like mine has.
I think I'm more open to other things.
Yeah.
I'm not so closed off. I don't think that when I was in middle school, I just decided to declare myself a metalhead. You just needed an identity.
Yeah.
So like 6th, 7th, 8th, whatever. Middle school, 7th grade, I was painting my fingernails black. It was ridiculous.
My God.
I badly wanted Jenko jeans.
Oh.
Yeah.
Gosh, do you have pictures?
I'm sure. My parents were like, no, they're not getting... You remember Jenko jeans?
A little bit.
Those were the jeans that had the giant legs.
Yeah.
Like the super... That's what I wanted because that was cool. They were like, no, but I wore a chain wallet with a big chain that I got at Home Depot. I had black fingernail polish. I wore black band T-shirts that were way too big for me because I was a shrimp. Don't forget, when I was in middle school, I was the shortest kid in school by a mile. I had to take human growth hormone. After that, like when I was 13, 14, I had to start taking human growth hormone just to get to this size, which is normal size. You still put on heels and you're taller than me. And I was doing HGH every night. So I was a shrimpola. I was, whatever it was, 12, I guess. I looked like I was 8. Fingernails painted black, chain wallet. Sometimes I would put the steel bead necklace on.
Oh yeah.
The whole deal, because that was my identity. You know what really shook me about the nail polish? This is the power parents have. I put on the black nail polish, and I just did it in my house. I bought black nail polish, and I put it on. And I'll never, ever forget. My dad was walking down the stairs, and he looked at my hand as he was walking. Then he looked up at me, and he goes, "Hey, sweetie." And he kept walking.
Oh, my
and I was like, oh, damn it. Oh, that's embarrassing.
Did you feel embarrassed at the time, or did you just think like, oh, he has no idea what he's talking about?
No, I was like, that's bad.
No.
That's bad. And then, I got made fun of a little bit in school. Like some of the black kids would make fun of me or whatever, which was fine. I didn't care. But the worst was we would take trips to Kentucky every summer.
Why?
Because my dad's...
Oh, your family. I thought you meant your school.
No. Yeah,
Trips
exactly.
to Kentucky.
No. We go every summer, we do a family reunion in Kentucky, in between Paducah and Cadiz, Kentucky, which is as Kentucky gets.
Okay.
And I remember going to a flea market, because what are you going to do in Kentucky? Paducah. We went to this flea market. It's like these old guys, and it's whatever it is, probably 96, 97.
Mm-hmm.
So trans and Caitlyn Jenner and all this stuff is 15, 20 years from happening.
Yeah.
So I'm walking around with my nails chipping because, my nail polish is chipping. I haven't manicured myself.
Because it looks cooler when it chips.
Exactly. And Kentucky hasn't gotten on the bandwagon of boys painting their fingernails black.
Yeah.
And this guy turns to me and he goes, "Did you bruise your fingers?" Because, if you smash your fingers in something.
Yeah.
And I looked at him, and that was this first moment of, like, what a hate crime could be. And I was like, yeah, I smashed him in something, and kept walking. I go, yep, bruises. What are you going to do?
You knew.
Manual labor. I knew immediately. And it taught me how to get out of a situation I didn't want to be in. I'm not going to debate this person. I'm not going to fight him.
You're very self-aware at that young of an age.
It's because I didn't do anything. I was always in my own head.
Yeah.
I was always self-aware. Although I was so self-aware, I thought it was a great idea to paint my fingernails black. That's how self-aware I was. But I did that. That's when I was listening to White Zombie. Like, my metalheadness was, I think it was White Zombie and the Offspring. Maybe a little bit of Primus. That was it. That was all. Pantera. I got into Pantera a little bit. But then I kind of eased up on being a metalhead once I got to high school because I didn't need to identify myself so badly anymore. That was really just saying, okay, here's what I am. Here's where I fit in.
Yeah.
Once I got to high school, I was fine about it. And I still listened to the same music, but then I was kind of more open to listening to other stuff, and that's when I started listening to hip-hop. That was the other thing. I remember making the transition into hip-hop because I thought still in the 90s, in the mid-90s, where I was in New York, there was still a thing of a suburban white kid doesn't listen to hip-hop. Wigger was still a word that was thrown around. If you're a suburban white kid, you've got your music. This is for a different group of people. And I abided by that. That's why I was a metalhead, because that's, white kids listen to metal. There people, if you're young, you don't understand that now because there's no more genres of music.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist anymore. But so the first hip hop, and I had to hide them. I'm sitting there watching MTV, and Skee-Lo comes on. I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. I wish I had a girl who looked good. I would call her. I was like, me too.
I like that song in college.
You did? Like,
yeah,
you went back to it?
Yeah.
I liked it when it first...
Like, they played it at every frat party.
They did?
Yeah.
When it first came out, I was like, yeah, I'm short. I get that.
You related to the song.
Well, because that's what he said. He said,
know.
I wish I was like 6'9" so I could get with Leoshi, because she don't know me, but yo, she's really fine. And I was like, I get you, Skee-Lo. Leoshi's not even looking at me. And I went out, and then I went to Sam Goody, and I got the cassette single of Skee-Lo, I Wish. And while I was there, I'm like, okay, I'm venturing into other genres. Like, I feel comfortable with myself that I can listen to stuff that's not for white kids at that time.
Yeah.
And I decided to also get Mr. Boombastic by Shaggy. You remember that one?
Was that the...
Mr. Boombastic, tell me fantastic.
No. I remember... Was Shaggy the one that was like, wasn't me?
Yeah, that was later.
Oh, I love that song.
That was later. Mr. Boombastic was his first big single. This is 95, probably.
Okay.
But I had to hide it. because I was embarrassed that had bought these. I liked that music. That's how true I was to the music, that I wanted it because I liked it, but I couldn't tell anyone about it.
Because you wouldn't be cool.
Because my friends...
You like Skee-Lo.
Exactly, they're the metalheads. I hang out with the metalheads. What metalhead listens to Mr. Boombastic and Skee-Lo?
When maybe they had those
right
under their beds.
Right.
Something.
Plus, then what happened was alternative started taking over more and more. Mm-hmm. Well, it was the second generation of alternative. Weezer, Green Day, bands like that. And I was like, no, forget all those bands. I don't like Green Day. I don't like Weezer. I don't like any of that stuff. Music that ended up being, I would say, culture-defining cool music. All of it. Bush. Take a hike, guys. I got Skee-Lo and Shaggy and White Zombie. F you. I made the wrong call on all of it. But and it was the same thing as Avril Lavigne, but much younger. Once I bought those cassette singles, which were a thing. You'd buy a cassette and it would just have the one song on it. I was able to now make the leap, like, now this is what I do. Yeah. I can buy other genres. So, I don't know. I mean, that was the only time where I was super genre specific. That would be my growth in genres. Now I'll listen to whatever I enjoy. But I certainly only started giving the Beatles a time of day, however many years ago. Not that long ago, because you just kind of open up a little bit. But I do strongly fight to make sure that I'm not romanticizing the music that I listened to when I was younger, which is why I will listen to people like Drake. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people my age or older or whatever won't, and go like, that's ridiculous, that's garbage. And it's funny too, because people who are older, like in their 30s or whatever, will say, well, Public Enemy and Ice Cube and NWA, this is real rap, not this Drake stuff. But when all that stuff came out, number one, they weren't listening to it. And number two, the people that were in their 30s when that came out were like, that's not music.
Yep.
And that's
that happens
where...
with every generation.
Exactly. That's the step that I always try to avoid. That sort of... And it happened, I think, for us, really with EDM. When electronic music became a thing.
That's not music. That's just someone pressing a button.
Exactly. When people started going around saying, it's not DJing if it's not vinyl. Maybe things have changed. The delivery mechanism of music has changed.
Yeah.
You can't marry yourself to any technology, and with technology we can make new sounds. And will electronic music be something that lasts forever? I don't know. Maybe it'll sound as ridiculous as some of those synthesizer 80s songs sound. But at this moment, you can't discredit it, and you certainly can't say that the stuff that sounds dated that you liked is better. Like 70s and 80s rock bands singing about being wizards and living in castles and stuff. That's stupid.
I think by comparison, we often forget of, like, with creators, whether they're musicians, actors, whatever, we have that nostalgia of, we like something from the time that we grew up with it, and we want that to continue because we think it's better than the current product. But they're not as good as the current product. Otherwise, they would still be producing content.
Meaning the bands you listened to before, they just can't maintain?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think...
And some of them do. Like, there are bands like Blink-182 who's still coming out with new music. And there's an audience for that.
There is. And
but
I'm not...
Is it as good as, you know, what they were back in the 90s, 2000s?
Well, the reason that it was good back in the 90s, 2000s is because they were something different. And what do you want from your band, right? Like, do you want your band to be your band? Or do you want your band to do something different? Because if they're just going to be your band, then it's never going to be as good as the first time. It's going to be something we've heard a lot before. And there's nothing wrong with enjoying a band and hearing them sound like your band.
Well, then there are artists that can continue to evolve, like Pharrell, like starting out with
great example
NERD, or Dead Mouse, or like there are DJs who have evolved over the course of like 2 decades.
I have to tell you, I love that new Alicia Keys song.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it sounds very, very different from where she started. I think, yeah, there are. Most can't, and when they do, a lot misstep. I think if you're going to evolve your sound, you really have to be inspired to do it. When people try to just keep up with, keep up with the Joneses, as it were, there's a lot of missteps that happen, and that's because they're not being true to themselves. The reason that they were successful in the beginning, generally,
is the passion behind it,
right? And that they were true. This is the music I want to create, as opposed to I can create what you listen to.
I have to create a hit single, or I have to make money, or I have to be famous.
Yeah,
there are people who succeed that way, but either they aren't ones that like songs that stand the test of time, or it's very apparent to the audience and they're immediately turned off by that.
I think... See, I'm wondering if it applies to, like, actors, because I think a lot of times...
I think it does.
Well, I wonder if this applies to actors. I think a lot of times musicians and bands can tarnish their legacy. I think if they put out 2 or 3 bad albums, then their good albums... You're like, oh, but this is that band that put out those bad albums. I think that it can affect your perception of the older music if they screw up their legacy, and maybe eventually you can get out of that, and appreciate them for what they are. But I think that happens. I don't know that it happens for actors. Like I don't know. I don't think it does because, Robert De Niro just does garbage movies now, but. It doesn't take away. Like, I'm watching Casino, I'm watching Goodfellas, I'm watching all these movies, Raging Bull, Taxi Driver, and he's still brilliant. I don't know if it's because we hold music so closely to us that it changes that.
I mean, I think it's also different because he's still putting on good performances in all of those.
Who?
Movies, Robert De Niro.
In what movies?
In the more recent movies that he's been in.
No.
You don't think so?
In the more recent movies, they're all terrible. You can't turn them into a good performance. That's like Al Pacino. Like Al Pacino he did a good performance like in the Phil Spector HBO movie, but there is no way.
I'm trying to think of a recent movie I've seen of Robert De Niro's though.
There's probably you
like
probably
Meet the
haven't.
Fockers.
Right. It's garbage. He was good in the first Meet the Parents, but other than that, what are you going to do with it? That's like Al Pacino was in that. He was one of the main people in the Adam Sandler movie where he played his own twin sister. Al Pacino can be as Al Pacino as he wants to be. And he's not going to pull it off because you can't.
But then there are actors or actresses who were wildly successful, but then they can't catch a break or like they don't do well.
What choice do you have? Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
That wouldn't apply. Adrian's here. Adrian's here. You actually made it with some time this week.
I agree with you on De Niro, 100%.
That he's awful now.
Yeah, I mean...
So here's the question.
What about
that's
like actors or like Misha Barton?
What about it?
She had a lot of...
I don't think she's been good since The Sixth Sense when she's thrown up under that table.
Throw it up?
Yeah, when she... Well,
throw it up, throw it up.
Hey, that chick would throw it up.
I mean, not saying that she was anywhere near the caliber of actor that Robert De Niro was.
Was.
But I mean, and maybe that's a bad example. That's just the first thing that popped into my head. But I think that there are, actors who started off their career very hot. Were booking things left and right, and then they did do a series of bad
flops.
Yeah.
Brendan Fraser.
And then they can't come back.
They couldn't come back from that.
That's an example.
Yeah.
But Brendan Fraser...
Yeah, I mean, nobody ever considered him like a master actor, but...
He was hot, though.
Yeah. He was big.
He was a big star. But I feel like he went up, down, because...
Well, he's in a Bollywood movie that's coming out.
Well, now he's in the downstage. Yeah. That's why it ended with down.
Bollywood has a lot of fans.
I know.
So.
He'll probably make money. 'Cause, I mean, Bollywood is big, but still, by Hollywood.
He wants to make.
Watched by like 1 billion people.
Brendan Fraser the numbers is numbers. Brendan Fraser wants to be a movie star in America.
Yeah.
Period.
It's like being a baseball player. You want to be a Yankee.
Right. It's like baseball is huge in Japan. Big deal.
Yeah.
You know, you can make a lot of yen. Cool. And you can probably make more money. But you want to be Reggie Jackson.
I don't know. Rupees do not translate.
Did they not?
Mm-mm.
That's too bad. That's too bad. That kid made so much money on that game show.
Yeah.
But what I was saying was, do you think that actors, because a musician, I think, can tarnish their legacy.
Yeah.
If a musician puts out 3 bad albums, you go back and listen to the good album, and there's just something about it that you're like, I think.
Yeah.
You know,
I guess.
if they sell out, or if they you don't really go back and listen to the old stuff and appreciate it the same way.
I don't know if an actor can tarnish their legacy because
Right.
I still fucking love Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore.
That's a great example.
Like
I was thinking that, but I don't
Sandler.
want to say.
Like I grew up on the Sandler movies. Like I fucking love those. I've
Big
seen them all
Daddy.
1,000 times. Yeah, Big
Big
Daddy.
Daddy is still
That's a good
Even Little
movie.
Nicky I loved. But I was also in 4th grade when it came out.
Yeah, I can't get on the Little Nicky.
I mean, there was
bandwagon.
a solid 2 years where me and my friends were doing Little Nicky impressions all day.
You guys must have
You
been a
must
riot.
be cool. Why were we the nerds? If
I
he's
know.
the one that has the worst stories.
Kathy and I just got reminded why we didn't hang out with anyone. But yeah, because Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, Big Daddy, Waterboy.
Waterboy was great.
Waterboy was terrific. So good.
So fucking funny. Like, those are 3 movies right there that are awesome.
I think something wrong with his medulla oblongata.
Yeah.
But when did you listen to music?
No, I was never really big into it.
Adrian's
brother was, but I
Adrian's a
wasn't.
weirdo. You want
I
to
am.
hear? Let me tell you about Adrian.
I still don't understand why he was the popular one.
I know, because he's a weird. Because he can play sports. If you can play sports,
That's really not. I mean,
If you-
but
if
go
you could-
on.
if you could play
I really
sports-
wasn't that popular.
please. If you got laid, you were popular. If you could play sports, you don't need anything else. That's in high school. That's the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
Adrian, you're 24, right?
Yeah.
He grew up listening to Black Sabbath.
It's my favorite band.
It's so strange.
Ask me who I was for Halloween in 6th grade.
Was it Dio?
No.
Well, then who could it possibly been?
It was Ozzy Osbourne.
Oh my gosh! I don't know why I went straight for Dio.
I can't believe you didn't get that.
That was so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Strange. You never heard like the kids in class talking about a band or whatever and be like, oh, I should check them out?
They used to make fun of me because I didn't like rap in 6th grade.
I think the difference.
What
is
year were you in
he
sixth
didn't
grade?
care when people made fun of him.
'Cause he
We
could-
would go and we'd try to figure out
No,
how
I
to
cared.
please them.
I had just moved to a new school, and I cared a lot.
What year did you
I
go?
really
Were you in
upset.
6th grade?
6th grade must have been 2003 or 2004. Ludacris and Shake Your Tail Feathers was huge. I remember
2004
that.
was not a great year for rap.
Yeah.
Shake it. You don't listen to Shake Your Tail Feather?
Oh, I remember that.
You don't listen to Shake Your Tail Feather? Who invited the new kid?
Holiday Inn.
Chingy?
Yep.
Yeah.
You don't listen to Chingy?
What
What about
was
Jaquan?
Tipsy? Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was a good song.
2004? No, it wasn't.
6th grade dance, I remember
There
that.
was a oh god, what's his name? I'm gonna get so mad that I don't remember this. He was a British rapper, and there was this one
Dizzy
song.
Rascal?
Dizzy Rascal, yeah. There's this one
Dizzy
song. where
Rascal
he's
was
like,
kind of the
He's
man.
like, stay true to his grandma, but like I always thought he said, stay true to his grandma,
Right, but
because he had the British.
But what was he saying?
Grammar.
Stay true to his grammar.
Oh, but grandma.
Stay
Yeah.
true to his grandma.
And you're like, what up, grandma? I love you. It's like, what? 2004 is a terrible year for rap.
I mean, I wouldn't know.
No, you didn't miss anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, what else?
50 I liked.
I mean, who didn't like 50? Was
I
2000
loved 50.
Fitty, not 50.
It's 50.
Fitty.
This is what's happened to 50 Cent. He goes along with it because he likes the money coming in.
Yeah.
But you know who calls him Fitty? Only white people.
Old.
No
Old white people.
No cool people say Fitty. You know why? Get the album. It says 50 Cent. 50. 50. It doesn't say Fiddy on it anywhere. His name's not Fiddy. And for like college kids to get mad at white kids with dreadlocks and saying you're appropriating our culture, while the older white people are going, "Oh, you like 50 Cent? How about this? We can speak proper English. Like you don't have to talk down to us." I can't stand it, and you knew that when people say "fiddy."
I'm gonna do it now just to annoy you.
Don't do it again. Who sang in the club?
Biddy.
God damn it, Cathy. Well,
I still remember listening to like, when In the Club came out. That was the first time I was like, okay, like Ramp's all right. But then,
Wow.
it died fast. And I
well,
went
because
right
Get
back
Rich
to
or
it.
Die Trying was a classic album,
Yeah.
and there weren't that many
guess.
albums. Yo, yeah, oh yeah. I like every
shot
song
9
on
times.
that album.
There's
Yeah,
that on
that
I
was
remember that.
Yeah, that was the story behind 50 Cent. He got shot 9 times. He was the man. He was that, but I was deep into it by then. I was way deep into it. So at no point did you start listening to popular music?
Not really.
Just
I mean, I
Black
would have
Sabbath.
the radio on when I was driving. But I never knew what song was what.
Cathy.
Yeah, see, that was what I was talking about. Is I never remembered the song names because everything was over radio.
Yeah.
And I didn't listen to when people were talking.
Yeah.
I would always I would go crazy researching. I would need to know the answer to everything.
Okay.
So I would sit there, even when the internet wasn't as big as it is now, so there's no Google or anything. I would sit there. I literally was probably the last generation of people that would sit there with a cassette tape in the radio, waiting for them to announce the song or any band that I liked, so I could hit record and get it on cassette tape. But yeah, I'd sit there and make sure I knew who they were talking about always.
But, I mean, there's also a lot of shitty music coming out when I was young, like especially when I was in high school. Like the one year that was it Black Eyed Peas had the "Tonight's Gonna Be a
Good night. Tonight.
I think Adrian's the only person
the
who's the
opposite.
exception to the rule that doesn't like romanticize the
Right.
music.
the music. Yeah.
He's like, you know when music was best? 70s.
But there were certain songs I liked. I loved Britney Spears had that one quick little song, 1, 2, 3, or 3 was it? 1, 2, 3. I
You like that song?
Yeah, I do.
not a good song.
I know.
It's not one of her
But you like
bigger
it.
hits.
Yeah, it isn't either. I was like, Toxic? That was a good song.
That was earlier.
Right.
I'm talking about when I was like 17.
That's what I was going to tell you. You know how you were asking me what I listen to? I love female singer-songwriters. That's why I like Amy Mann. You know who I love?
Kesha.
That's not a female singer-songwriter.
She was big when I was in high school.
Actually, she is.
She hasn't put anything out lately.
Because she's under
Wake
a
up,
really
brush my
bad.
teeth
Have
with
you
a
not
bottle of
read
Jack.
any of the?
No, I know exactly what's going on.
What happened?
I do like Kesha. But that's like pop. I'm talking singer-songwriter, a woman who said,
Okay.
Michelle Branch.
Oh my gosh, I loved Michelle.
You
Branch.
did? I mean, I still do actively.
And Vanessa Carlton. Come on.
See, I like Vanessa Carlton. Vanessa Carlton, making my way downtown. Da-da-da.
That's a fucking great song.
You like that
was
one?
Yeah.
And I'm homebound.
Dude, I learned that on the keyboard.
You were so cool. I didn't. Here's my problem with Vanessa Carlton. People confuse Michelle Branch with her all the time. So when I tell people that I like Michelle
Completely
Branch,
different people.
they're like, "If I could fall into you," they're like, "It's your song, Sam." And I go, "That's not Michelle
Whatever
Branch."
happened to Michelle Branch?
Well, she had her solo career.
Yeah.
And she had she had like 3 or 4 hits.
Yeah.
She did pretty well. And then she started a band with another chick. I think they were called the Wreckers or something like that. And it was far more twangy and country. And she kind of just went down that road. And it wasn't pop music, but I think was veering away.
Like folky?
Kind of folky, but twangy, like
I could see
country.
her
I like
doing that,
country.
yeah.
And but she was specifically not doing popular music,
Yeah.
so I think she was kind of done with the scene.
I remember the days when Mandy Moore was a pop star.
Oh yeah, I'm missing you like candy. I listen to that song.
Crush.
Yeah, yeah. You know, when I was graduating high school, it was all about vitamin C. As we go on, we remember. What were you gonna say?
I'm gonna say it's good for the immune system.
I wish you hadn't. Your first instinct was right on that one.
Your
Yeah.
phone's on. What is this, amateur hour?
Yeah, who taught you anything?
It's Jeff Tate.
What's Jeff Tate calling you for?
Followed me.
Dope.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
Oh my
He's
god.
like, I wonder what that kid's name is. I'm going to type in radio Adrian to find out.
Good instincts, Jeff.
You got it. The only reason I started this conversation was to get somewhere else entirely. I had no inclination of talking about music, but I was because I was only asking you what record store you went to. Like
what was the point
Coconuts.
of asking?
You went to Coconuts?
I didn't go to Coconuts, but that was the only music store I could think
Coconuts?
of. Yeah. There's one on Route 4.
I think I went to Best Buy, actually.
Oh, that's sad.
We didn't have, like...
Coconuts.
You're talking about when you were young?
Coconuts is like the shittiest CD store there is.
That's what was around when I was young. I never went.
Coconuts. They were probably like going out of business though pretty quick when you were a kid.
I think they were out of business by the time I was a senior in high school.
I'm
but
sure.
I remember being little because my brother listens to music. I remember when I was little. I like
I want you guys to know something about my brother. He listens to music.
No, I say he listened to music. Like I didn't when I was young, and I remember going to the store with him and my mom so he could get a CD.
At Coconuts?
Yeah, if you want to talk about the artist that I really first gravitated towards was probably Weird Al Yankovic.
I mean, you're a kid. That's
Yeah.
Fish heads, roly.
I feel like you've sung that on this
heads,
podcast
fish,
before, and
fish,
that's not
fish,
even sort of
heads,
acceptable.
Eat them up, yum.
I like
Never-
My Bologna.
No, we've had this conversation before, and it's stupid. But Coconuts is the shitty CD store. I think it's funny that you went to Coconuts.
What are the names of the other CD stores? I can't remember.
FYE.
FYE and Sam Goody. Sam Goody, I worked at Sam Goody. And they
Those
go,
were-
Sam Goody.
There
You
was
own the
one
place.
that was like
Very funny every time.
Yeah.
in my hometown, and I don't remember the name, and it was neither of those.
Well, I don't know. I mean, those are the
big
biggies.
ones, yeah.
I guess you can tweet
It was
to
a
us
chain,
if
though.
if you can think of one that I'm missing. I'm sure I'm missing
CD store?
something. But the reason I bring it up is because in the dying days, Sam Goody went out of business first because they would mark up their CDs to $20-25 each.
Yeah.
I remember working at Sam Goody. They made us.
Napster was huge then too.
Well, yeah, that was the death of you know
yeah.
records and CDs and everything.
Yeah.
But I remember they were pushing us so hard to sell replay memberships. Sam Goody was like one of the early stores to have a loyalty card, and you had to buy it. It was if you paid $15 a year or something, you could get 10% off all your purchases and get points. The cards that you get for free now, we would have to sell them to people as the cashiers, and like that was.
Oh, you've talked about this before.
Yeah, and I remember the manager coming in. We got a new manager. I was having fun there. We didn't really have a manager because the old manager had just left. Then they hired the manager from FYE because there was the rich mall and the poor mall. Sam Goody, the one that I worked at, was in the poor mall, and FYE was in the rich mall. So they hired the manager from FYE, and he came in. He was like, "Are you Sam?" I was like, "Yeah," and he was like, "I hear you're a rock star with the replay memberships. Let's keep it up, buddy." It's like the last replay I ever sold. It's like, go to hell. Like,
You didn't like the regime change?
No. I was like, I'll sell replays because like that's what I do. But I'm not for you. If you
FYI, FYE manager, fuck you.
Yeah, that's the end. That is the end of me selling replays for you. Oh, your memberships are down. Yes, they are. I'm not selling them. I'm not. I won't. But I bring it out because I always used to love those stores, and they kind of went away with physical media because who has physical media? But in the mall, you're in Jersey. Do you know the Palisades Mall?
Yeah.
They have two new stores that specialize. I do a lot of broadcasting.
Yeah.
That specialize in physical media. Like they're like geek. One of them is like a nerd store that's full of DVDs and pop vinyl figures, which you know.
Is it really that? Is it that big?
It's huge. Huge. I have a bunch. They're wrestling ones, but I have a bunch. I'm so tired of hearing about them. I stopped. But like some of the pop vinyl wrestling things that I just kind of ended up coming across, I don't even know if I bought them. They got them as gifts or they sent them to me or whatever. Like some of them are worth like a lot of money, like hundreds of dollars.
Jesus.
You're
I
just
know.
trying to do this entire podcast to say that you're a low-key millionaire
Yeah.
because of all of your...
Exactly.
Figures.
Because I have great toys. But what I really wanted to talk about was the and maybe we'll talk about it next week, was the man-child syndrome that I think is happening nowadays. And then I feel
With
like
you, and you're just trying to say that to justify it?
no, I feel like I'm falling into it. I'm trying to figure out.
Oh.
I got to do some soul searching over the next week to figure out if I'm falling into man-childness or if there's a reason that I have a box of wrestling toys in the back of my car right now that I'm looking forward to opening.
Quite a lot.
Looking forward quite a lot. You mean?
No.
We calculated he has 20.
Quite a few wrestling toys in your car.
20
We counted
figures.
earlier.
That's
More.
right. You think more?
Yeah, more.
Because 20, but you're not. You didn't count the 2-packs. So
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to talk about because in the Palisades Mall, there's 2 stores. One of them has pop figures and DVDs, full of DVDs.
Mm-hmm.
The other one is just buy and sell used movies and video games. And I'm like, who's buying this stuff? Who would buy physical media now? How could these stores stay in business? I almost felt bad. I felt really proud of myself because I was like I had a giant thing of Blu-rays that I was just going to put on the sidewalk or something. I just wanted this space gone.
Yeah.
Because I put in the iTunes codes, and I love having the digital. I have the iTunes collection and the Vudu collection, and I love the digital copy collection. It's my favorite thing in the world. Digital copies. It's the best. So I like when I have to put a disc in the PlayStation to watch a Blu-ray. I'm like, what year is this? I get so pissed. It's like I'm checking the rabbit ears on the TV. I'm like, who does this?
I mean, I kind of like having the physical thing.
Wait till you
Until
really
it scratches once and then it's done.
Yeah, wait till you start. First of all, I love movies, so I end up with just tons of them. And when you have like an Apple TV and a good TV set and a good iTunes collection, it's the best because you just stay on the couch, you can scroll through, watch like awesome movies whenever. It's awesome. It's like if Netflix had good movies, Imagine that.
It's so disappointing.
It's awful.
It really is.
They're doing it. Yeah, it's terrible. I was watching. I told Jeff Tate on the show this week. I was watching Charlie Chaplin's biopic. It makes no sense. Terrible.
You can watch the new Transformers.
Yeah. Thanks.
OIT&B.
Huh? Orange is the New Black. I don't think I finished the last season.
Yeah.
That's my weekend.
Good for you.
Mine too.
Yeah. No, I don't think I finished the last season.
You
So,
didn't?
I don't think so.
Season 3 wasn't as strong as season 1 and 2, but I have a really good feeling about season 4.
I
Why?
watched the first episode last night.
Was it good?
Very good.
He put up the A-OK symbol like a turd. But c'est magnifique. But I brought in a giant thing of Blu-rays that I was just going to throw out. And they gave me like $200 for it.
Really?
Yeah. And it was a lot of them. But I was like, I wanted, and this goes back to not wanting to, I don't lie. Mm-hmm. I wanted to be like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
This is just such a stupid transaction. I understand that you're literally paying very, very low amounts for each disc. Mm-hmm. Some of them were as low as $1 or $2 per disc. Like a lot of them were $1 or $2 per disc. You're never going to make the money back. I don't know what you're doing. And I felt bad for the guy because I'm sitting there having this conversation with him, and he goes, I go, yeah, I mean, I'm so glad you guys are here because I'm going to go through my house and find out what else, because they buy gadgets too. So I'm just going to go through my house now and see what else I can sell to them. Just get it out of there. Because I was like, yeah, I was worried because after all the FYEs closed, because I sold a bunch of DVDs to FYE like 2 years ago and made a whole bunch of money. So it's like, after all the FYEs closed, I was, kind of bummed that there was no place to sell these Blu-rays back to. And he was like, oh, yeah, no. Don't worry. We'll be here for a while. And I wanted to be like, you will not.
No, you won't, dude.
You definitely won't.
Yeah.
You definitely have more people selling than buying. It's terrible business.
I feel like record stores stayed around a lot longer than people buying records did. I mean, people still buy records, I guess.
Yeah, but that's a collecting.
Yeah, no, and I think it's no. I think
do people collect Blu-rays? Like that's not.
That's the thing. It's like it changes along with technology, and you have to give larger populations time. Like quote unquote record stores. I guess that's what I call them. They only lasted because
nostalgia.
No, it's because CDs. Like they had records, then they had tapes, then they had CDs.
I thought you were saying why people still buy records now.
Right, and vinyl. It's like that's a whole different deal.
I don't even think I've seen a red box anywhere in a really long time. I'm sure they still exist.
They got them at Walmart's. That's because you're so bougie. You don't shop at Wally World. You shop at Target. Miss Upscale.
Target.
That's right. Yeah, but you can't find it. I think that they tried to stay in as long as possible, but also they started merging together, right? So all like the music stores became music and movie stores.
Yeah.
So they got to kind of jump on the back of, as CDs were going down, DVDs were super hot. Like as Napster was destroying people buying CDs, people started collecting DVDs like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I was one of them. Then they started collecting Blu-rays like crazy.
That was like a go-to Christmas birthday gift.
Exactly.
DVDs.
It was cool to have your collection like
Yes.
out too.
Yes.
So people could see like what movies you liked.
Yes, and you'd want to go out and buy the most obscure DVDs.
Yeah.
Now, no. You go to somebody's house now that has a giant DVD collection, especially when it's DVDs, you're like, ugh, what are you doing?
I got a shelf.
I knew people
But
that
then,
spend
how many do you
hours
have?
like alphabetizing
Yeah, like,
them.
I don't know. Not a collection.
Right,
Yeah.
right. That's fine if you have, even if you have a few. I'm like, put those away.
Half of them are also free ones that I got.
Right,
Here.
right. Yeah, and I would spend all kinds of time alphabetizing. I had an app on my computer that like you could use the camera on the computer to scan the barcode. So I had cover art, so I knew every single thing because I had hundreds of them.
What do you mean? You would scan it so you knew what?
You'd scan the barcode, and then a virtual shelf would be on your computer, and it would give you the cover art of every.
Oh, so you
DVD
knew
that you
exactly
have.
what you had?
Exactly.
Okay. Rather
Exactly.
than putting it on display?
Because I had so many that I'd
Yeah,
put them in
yeah,
a
yeah.
box and just mark what was what.
I was always
I
so
understand.
frustrated that, you know, with like CDs, you could load it onto your computer, like into your iTunes.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't do that for DVDs.
Which is why I love iTunes digital copies and Vudu digital copies. The best. Because now you don't even have to store them. They're in the cloud.
No, I use the cloud.
Well, you would if you had iTunes.
Yeah, that's true.
Good counterpoint.
Yeah, you got me there.
Well, and guess what? That's why we have this great podcast. Thank you all for being a part of it. What a great show.
Thanks for having us, man.
I was talking to the audience.
Oh,
And don't say us like you and you and Kathy are my guests.
I mean, your name's on
This
the wall.
is the Sam and Kathy show.
Oh, excuse me. I'll get back to editing.
Yeah, why don't you get back? Why don't you get back to the lab? That was the sound of Adrian leaving. Thank you all for being here. Of course, you know where to follow us on Twitter at Catherine Kelley and at Not Sam. I would plug Adrian, but he's embarrassed by his Twitter name. So we'll be back here next week for another Sam and Kathy show. Please tweet us. Let us know what you think of the show.
Rate the show.
And rate the show on iTunes.
And comment.
Subscribe
Tell
on
your friends.
iTunes. Yeah.
Jeff Tate follows me.
Big deal. Listen to Kathy. I think when I ask you to subscribe and rate and do all that, it's one thing. But Kathy, when you ask them to,
Can you guys please just comment and rate and subscribe? Because it would really be great.
whatever you say, Kathy. Oh yes, Queen Kathy. Yes.
I'll marry you if you do that.
Oh my God, Kathy. You're just abusing it. We'll see you next week.